What if I told you the most powerful secret for raising your energy was hidden in plain sight, waiting for someone bold enough to see it? For thousands of years, people have searched. They tried rituals, recited mantras, followed teachers who promised enlightenment. Yet after the initial spark, the fire always dimmed. Energy slipped away, and they returned to the same cycles of fatigue, distraction, and frustration. But long before these scattered attempts, the Egyptians spoke of a god who preserved the full map. Thoth, the Divine Scribe, master of wisdom and keeper of hidden knowledge. He was not a myth in their eyes, but a living architect of transformation. And according to legend, he left behind a process so complete that anyone who practiced it with discipline could shift their reality at will. The first step in this process was not a dramatic ritual under moonlight, nor a complex formula guarded by priests. It was something so ordinary, you do it about 20,000 times every single day without thinking, breathing. Yet this was no ordinary breath. Thoth revealed that the way humans usually inhale and exhale is crude, like scratching the surface of a vast treasure chest. The real key lies in conscious breath, done in a particular rhythm with a particular awareness that awakens the body's hidden role as a living antenna. Every organ vibrates, every cell hums, but only when tuned correctly can they receive and transmit the higher currents of cosmic energy. This secret was known as the breath of the Sacred Ibis. The ibis, a bird sacred to Thoth, moves with elegance and precision. It is patient, deliberate, unshaken. To breathe like the ibis is to breathe as though each inhale draws wisdom itself into your body. The method is deceptively simple. Sit upright, as if an invisible string is lifting the crown of your head toward the sky. Place one hand upon your chest, the other on your abdomen. Inhale through your nose for 4 slow counts, but allow only the belly to expand. Let the chest remain still. Hold the breath for 4 counts, and in that pause, imagine a radiant golden light entering through the top of your head, sliding down your spine, and condensing into a point of pure brilliance 2 inches below your navel. Then exhale gently through your mouth for 6 counts, contracting the belly, and see that golden light expand outward, flooding your arms, your legs, your mind, until it radiates beyond your skin and forms a pulsating sphere of power all around you. At first, you may doubt it, but continue for 7 minutes and something begins to shift. A warmth rises in your core. A quiet calm settles in your chest. The mind, usually filled with scattered thoughts, suddenly narrows into clarity. Emotions that once bubbled like stormy waters begin to still. Within just 3 days of daily practice, many who walked this path claimed they felt a steadiness unlike anything before, like an anchor dropped deep into the ocean floor of their being. This was the beginning, the initiation. Thoth never intended the breath of the Sacred Ibis to be the final destination. It is the door. The breath awakens the nervous system, reprograms the energetic field, and sets the foundation for all the steps that follow. Without it, the advanced practices crumble like a temple built on sand. But with it, the body becomes a living temple, a conduit ready to receive the next mysteries. Imagine it. Every breath, once wasted, now transformed into power. Every inhale a stream of light. Every exhale an expansion of your very being. The ordinary act of breathing becomes extraordinary. The forgotten action becomes sacred. This was the wisdom hidden for 4,000 years, not because it was complicated, but because it was too simple, and simplicity often hides the greatest treasures. When you have tasted the first key, the breath of the Sacred Ibis, you begin to realize something astonishing. The body is not just a vessel of flesh and bone. It is a living temple, a structure designed with secret doors and hidden circuits. The breath opens the first of those doors, awakening your inner antenna. But Thoth taught that the journey does not stop there. The next revelation is stranger, more visceral and yet undeniable once you experience it for yourself. It is the awakening of your hands. Think about it. Every day you use your hands to type, to hold, to grasp, to touch. They are the tools of survival, of creation, of expression. But to the ancient initiates, the hands were not simply tools. They were gateways, the most concentrated centers of energy in the entire human frame. If the breath aligns the whole body, the hands focus that energy like 2 blazing torches ready to illuminate the dark. The practice begins in the simplest way. You rub your palms together, not casually, but with focus and vigor, until heat surges through the skin. At first it feels ordinary, just friction, just warmth. Yet stay with it, 30 seconds, then 40, until you sense something different. The heat is not merely physical. Something inside you stirs, as if thousands of tiny circuits are snapping online, as if hidden wires long dormant are suddenly carrying current. Now separate your palms, holding them 8 inches apart, as though cradling a sphere that no one else can see. Close your eyes. Let the rhythm of the Sacred Ibis guide your breath again. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Each inhale, imagine golden energy pouring down from the heavens. But this time, let it flow not to your belly, but directly into your palms. Each exhale, feel that energy condense, becoming thicker, denser, filling the invisible space between your hands. And then it happens. At first, a faint tingling at your fingertips, subtle, almost like the hum of static before a storm. Then warmth grows deeper, pulsing, alive. Soon you cannot ignore it. A pressure forms, as if you are truly holding a ball, not of matter, but of force. You bring your palms a little closer, and the resistance pushes back. You draw them apart, and the sphere stretches, elastic, magnetic. You are no longer imagining. You are touching energy itself. This moment changes everything. For centuries, seekers argued, is life force real or only a metaphor? But when the invisible becomes tangible, when you can feel its weight pressing in your hands, the debate ends. It is real. You know it because you have held it. Thoth's disciples called this the awakening of the divine hands. It was the second great secret, a turning point where belief gave way to direct knowledge. Franz Barden called it physical magnetism. Eliphas Levi named it the magnetic fluid. Mystics across cultures stumbled onto fragments of this truth, but Thoth's system gave it structure. The breath awakens the field. The hands focus it into form. What can be done with this power? The possibilities are vast. Some directed it inward to heal and strengthen the body. Others projected it outward to influence events, to heal others, to magnetize opportunities toward them. Thoth warned, however, that energy itself is neutral. It does not choose sides. It only follows intention. The hands can be instruments of creation or destruction. That is why he insisted that mastery of the breath and clarity of mind must come first. Without discipline, energy is like fire in the hands of a child, bright but dangerous. The practice is not complicated, but it demands consistency. 5 minutes a day is enough. Rub the palms, breathe the sacred rhythm, gather the light and shape it into the invisible sphere. At first you simply feel it. Later you can compress it, stretch it, move it. Eventually, with focus, you can send it to where it is needed most. Into a wound, into a project, into a vision of the future you wish to make real. Those who persevered found that their perception shifted. Ordinary reality no longer seemed inert. Every interaction became alive with subtle currents. The space between people, the air of a room, even the silence of night carried texture, density, vibration. Once you awaken the hands, you never again see the world as empty. You see the fabric of energy woven through everything, and you know you can touch it. But Thoth's wisdom did not stop at the hands. He revealed that energy, once felt, can be multiplied 1,000-fold. Yet the fuel for that amplification does not come from breath alone, nor from the hands themselves. The true engine lies in something far more human, something each of us generates every second, our emotions. And so, having breathed the light and touched the current, the initiate must now face the greatest challenge, the alchemy of feeling. Once you have awakened the current in your hands, you stand at the edge of a deeper mystery. You can feel energy. You can shape it into a sphere, sense its warmth, its pressure, its undeniable reality. But Thoth taught that energy in its raw state is like water flowing without direction. It exists, it moves, but without a guiding force it cannot build, cannot create, cannot transform. That guiding force is not thought alone. It is not the mind's endless chatter, nor the logical patterns of reason. The true fuel, the engine that multiplies energy 100-fold, is the realm most people fear to face: emotion. Look at the world around you. Every choice you make, every action you take begins not with reason, but with feeling. Love pulls you forward. Fear holds you back. Anger burns, sadness drowns, joy lifts. Each emotion is not random. It is a frequency, a vibration. And like frequencies in music, they resonate and attract matching tones. This is why your emotional state seems to shape your life. You carry fear, and you find more reasons to fear. You carry gratitude, and opportunities seem to arrive uninvited. Thoth understood this thousands of years ago. He mapped emotions as energies on a scale, from the heaviest, like guilt and rage, to the lightest, like love and awe. He warned his initiates that without mastering emotion, they would remain prisoners, tossed about like leaves in a storm. But if they could transmute emotion, they could turn lead into gold, transforming pain into power, weakness into strength. The process was called the scribe's transmutation. It was not about suppressing or denying feelings. That, Thoth said, only deepens the chain. To deny anger is to carry it underground where it festers. To deny fear is to let it control you from the shadows. Instead, he taught, you must face the emotion directly, then reshape it. The practice began with the familiar rhythm of the Sacred Ibis. Sit quietly. Breathe 4 counts in, hold 6 counts out. Place your awakened palms over the center of your chest, where the heartbeat echoes the rhythm of life. Now, when an emotion rises, fear, anger, grief, do not run from it. Ask yourself, where does it live in my body? Perhaps fear tightens the throat. Perhaps anger burns in the stomach. Perhaps sadness weighs upon the shoulders. With each inhale, imagine golden light descending from the heavens, flowing into the spot where the emotion lives. With each exhale, see that light wrapping the feeling, not to crush it, but to lift it higher. Anger becomes determination. Fear becomes excitement for the unknown. Sadness softens into compassion. The energy does not vanish. It transforms, and something miraculous begins to happen. What once felt like poison becomes fuel. The very emotion that held you down becomes the engine that propels you forward. The lead is transmuted into gold. The disciples of Thoth wrote that after weeks of practice, their lives changed in ways they could not have imagined. Conflicts that once drained them became moments of clarity. Failures that once brought despair became lessons that filled them with purpose. They discovered that emotion was not their enemy, but their greatest treasure once understood. Modern seekers might ask, but isn't this just psychology? Perhaps. Yet to those who practiced, the transformation was not merely mental. It was energetic. As they transmuted their feelings, the golden field around their bodies grew stronger, brighter, more magnetic. People noticed. Opportunities came. Synchronicities multiplied. What they felt inside began to rewrite the reality outside. Thoth warned, however, that this stage is not easy. It is a mirror. To sit with your fear, to look at your anger, to face your grief, these are tests of courage. Many turned away, preferring the comfort of denial. But those who endured discovered freedom unlike any other. For once you know how to transform your emotions, nothing outside of you can enslave you again. The masters who came centuries later confirmed the same truth. Eliphas Levi said, energy has no morality. It bends to intention. Aleister Crowley spoke of the magician's will, sharpened by passion. But Thoth's teaching went deeper. Will alone is not enough. Will must be fueled, and the only inexhaustible fuel is the raw fire of emotion, refined through breath, light, and focus. So the path unfolds. First the breath, then the hands, then the heart. Each stage builds upon the last. You breathe to awaken, you touch energy to believe, and you transmute to command. And yet there is still another step. For even when emotion has been alchemized into power, it requires direction. Energy without focus is like sunlight scattered in all directions. Powerful, yes, but diffuse. To ignite, it must be concentrated into a single beam, precise and unwavering. That is why Thoth's fourth secret is the art of focus itself, a discipline drawn from the patience of the ibis, a gaze so sharp it pierces reality and bends it. After breath awakens the body, after the hands reveal the current, and after emotions are transmuted into fuel, the path reaches a critical point. For energy without direction is like a river without banks. It spreads, it floods, it dissipates. To become a true creator, the seeker must do more than feel power, they must aim it. This is where Thoth revealed the fourth key, focus. He called it the focus of the Divine Ibis. The ibis, sacred bird of Egypt, was known for its stillness. It could stand motionless by the water for hours, patient, silent, its gaze fixed. And then in one perfect instant, it would strike with precision, capturing its prey in a single motion. For Thoth, this bird embodied the mind of a master, unwavering, patient, precise. Most people's minds are not like the ibis. They are like sparrows in a storm, darting from one branch to another, restless, scattered. Thoughts leap from past regrets to future worries, from trivial distractions to heavy anxieties. This constant noise scatters mental energy in 1,000 directions, weakening every effort. You can breathe, you can feel energy, you can transmute emotions, but if your focus is unstable, the power leaks away. Thoth's disciples were trained to sharpen their focus until it became like a beam of light. Just as sunlight can warm the skin but only burns paper when concentrated through a lens, so too, the mind becomes transformative only when it is concentrated on one point. This discipline, though difficult, multiplies the effect of every other practice. The exercise he gave was deceptively simple. Choose an object. It could be a candle flame, a stone, a flower, anything neutral and steady. Sit in meditation, spine straight, palms resting upward on the knees. Begin with the breath of the sacred ibis, calming the system, centering the energy. Then fix your gaze, or if your eyes are closed, your inner vision on the chosen object. Do not merely look. Absorb. See the colors of the flame, the textures of the stone, the softness of the petals. Allow nothing else to exist. The mind will resist. Thoughts will arise, pulling you toward memory, distraction, or worry. Do not fight them and do not follow them. Simply notice and return, again and again, to the object. At first, it feels impossible. 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and the mind wanders. But over days and weeks, something shifts. What was once chaotic begins to quiet. What was once scattered begins to sharpen. Soon, you can hold your attention steady for minutes at a time. When you reach the point where 20 minutes pass without significant distraction, the transformation is undeniable. At that stage, your mind is no longer a radio switching channels. It is a laser, cutting through the noise of the world. With such focus, the energy you generate through breath, hands, and emotions does not leak. It strikes exactly where you send it. The disciples wrote that this skill felt like wielding a blade forged from light. A healer could direct energy into the precise organ needing balance. A creator could aim it into a vision and watch circumstances shift. A seeker could pierce the veils of confusion and see truth directly. Focus was not merely a mental skill. It was an amplifier, doubling or tripling the effect of every other technique. Yet Thoth warned of the danger here. Power magnified without purity of intention becomes dangerous. A sharp blade can cut the enemy, but it can also cut the one who wields it. That is why he emphasized that focus must always be trained alongside transmutation of emotions. Only when the heart has learned to alchemize fear and anger into higher states can the focused mind be trusted to wield energy wisely. The ibis waits, patient, silent, unmoved by distraction. When the moment comes, it acts without hesitation. This was the model Thoth gave to his students. Patience without passivity, precision without doubt. And so the path continued. Breath to awaken, hands to feel, emotions to fuel, focus to direct. 4 keys, each unlocking the next. But Thoth's teaching was not finished. The initiates who mastered these first 4 discovered a new possibility, an advanced breath that harmonized not only the body, but the 2 hemispheres of the brain, the solar and lunar channels of life itself. It was called the breath of the 2 paths, and it opened the gateway to permanent elevation of energy. When the disciple had mastered the 4 keys, the sacred breath, the divine hands, the alchemy of emotion, and the focus of the ibis, Thoth revealed the next stage. He called it the breath of the 2 paths, a practice not just to awaken or fuel energy, but to balance it perfectly and raise it permanently. For Thoth taught that within every human body, 2 great rivers of energy flow. They mirror the hemispheres of the brain and the polarity of the cosmos itself. The ancients named them the solar channel and the lunar channel. The solar runs along the right, fiery, masculine, logical, active, aligned with the sun. The lunar flows along the left, gentle, feminine, intuitive, receptive, aligned with the moon. Most people live their lives with these channels out of balance. Sometimes solar energy dominates, and they burn with overactivity, stress, and aggression. Other times, the lunar overpowers, and they sink into passivity, confusion, and inertia. In both cases, energy leaks. The current is never fully harnessed. But when the two are brought into harmony, something extraordinary happens. The body ceases to waste force. Instead, it amplifies it, like two notes merging into resonance. The breath of the two paths was Thoth's way of achieving that resonance. He adapted it from an ancient yogic method, but with refinements that transformed it into an engine of manifestation. The disciple sits upright, spine straight, hands ready. First, the palms are rubbed to awaken magnetism. Then the right hand is lifted, the thumb gently closing the right nostril, the ring finger poised to close the left. The pattern begins: close the right nostril. Inhale slowly through the left for 4 counts, drawing in silvery lunar energy. Hold for 4 counts, feeling that energy concentrate in the belly. Release the thumb. Exhale through the right for 6 counts, letting the silver spread through the system. Then reverse. Inhale through the right for 4 counts, this time pulling in golden solar fire. Hold for 4 counts, and exhale through the left for 6, spreading the gold. 1 cycle complete. Then another, and another. At first it is mechanical. The counts, the finger movements, the visualizations feel awkward. But with practice, rhythm takes over. Inhale moon, hold, exhale. Inhale sun, hold, exhale. Silver and gold weaving within the body. Left and right, lunar and solar, harmonizing. After several cycles, something remarkable begins to occur. The mind quiets. The 2 hemispheres of the brain seem to pulse in unison. Thoughts no longer clash, they flow. A sensation of equilibrium spreads, as if every cell is being tuned like a string on an instrument. Thoth's instructions were clear: 21 cycles each day, for 21 consecutive days. This was not arbitrary. He taught that in this period, the channels realign, the nervous system adapts, and the practitioner's energy stabilizes at a higher level. Disciples described it as crossing a threshold. After 3 weeks, they felt not only balanced but radiant, as though a light glowed within and around them, unshaken by the chaos of the world. But balance was not the only secret of this breath. Thoth added another layer, one that transformed the technique into a true manifestation tool. He instructed his initiates that during the breath retention, the 4-count pause when the energy is concentrated, they must place within that space their clearest intention. Not a vague wish, not a fleeting desire, but a precise vision of what they sought to create. To breathe in light, hold it, and during the hold, fuse it with the image of one's desire, charging it like a sigil carved in fire. Then on the exhale, release that charged vision into the field of reality, letting it ripple outward with the force of harmonized energy. The disciple who practiced this discovered a truth that seemed like magic. Their thoughts began to shape events. Not instantly, not always as imagined, but undeniably. Doors opened. People appeared. Opportunities aligned. The balanced current carried their intention outward, and the world echoed it back. Thoth called this the engine of creation. The breath of the 2 paths was not only about personal calm. It was about becoming a conduit through which the universe itself could act. Yet even this was not the final secret. Once the channels were balanced and the energy amplified, Thoth revealed that the human body holds 12 hidden portals, points of entry for cosmic force, that could be awakened to create a permanent field of power around the practitioner. By the time a disciple had mastered the breath of the 2 paths, their entire system had changed. The body no longer leaked energy. The mind no longer scattered power. The emotions no longer ruled like tyrants. For the first time, the initiate stood balanced, radiant, ready. And it was then that Thoth unveiled one of his most closely guarded mysteries: the mapping of the 12 sacred portals. Most traditions speak of 7 chakras, but Thoth revealed 12, gateways spread across the human frame, each one a point where cosmic force flows into the body. They are not only centers of energy but living suns, radiant vortices meant to transform a human being into a walking field of light. The 12 portals included the crown at the top of the head, the forehead of inner vision, the throat of expression, the heart of compassion, the solar plexus of will, the navel of life force, the sacrum of creativity. the base of the spine for grounding, the palms of the hands as projectors of intention, the soles of the feet for earth connection, the nape of the neck for insight, and the chest center for integration. Thoth taught a ritual called the awakening of the 12 suns. It began, as always, with the sacred breath and the balance of the two paths. Once the mind was calm and the channels harmonized, the disciple would turn inward and focus on the crown of the head. They would visualize a golden sun igniting there, glowing brighter with every breath. Then they would move downward, portal by portal, igniting one sun after another. Each inhale drew golden light from the cosmos. Each exhale expanded it into radiance. The forehead blazed, then the throat, then the heart. One by one, 12 suns came alive, until the body glowed like a constellation incarnate. But this was only the beginning. Once all 12 were awakened, the disciple would visualize streams of light connecting them, weaving them into a luminous web. The web expanded, stretching outward until it formed a sphere of power around the entire body, extending 10 feet in every direction. This was the force field of the scribe, an active, self-sustaining field of light. Within this field, negativity could not penetrate. Lower vibrations dissolved upon contact. High-frequency opportunities, people, and events were magnetized toward the practitioner. The disciple became a beacon, radiating energy that shaped not only their inner state, but also the environment around them. Thoth instructed his initiates to practice the awakening of the 12 suns daily for 40 days. After that cycle, the field no longer needed conscious effort. It became permanent, woven into the very fabric of the practitioner's being. Energy no longer had to be summoned. It was there, 24 hours a day, an aura of luminous strength that transformed daily life into a stream of synchronicity. And yet, there was still one final step. For even the 12 suns, radiant and powerful, could become a trap if misunderstood. The danger was believing that the energy came from outside, that the cosmos was giving power to the individual. Thoth's ultimate revelation shattered this illusion. He called it the integration of the Master Scribe. In this final stage, the initiate was asked to set aside all techniques, no counting, no visualizations, no rituals. Instead, they were to sit in silence and recognize the truth. They were not receiving energy. They were the energy. They were not summoning power from beyond. They were that power, that cosmos, that infinite source, wearing the mask of a human form. Everything, every breath, every hand exercise, every sun awakened, had been a training device, a set of illusions designed to pierce the deeper illusion of separation. The ultimate secret was not that you could control energy, but that you are energy. The breath you drew in was not foreign light, but your own essence mirrored back to you. The sphere of protection was not outside, but your own consciousness extended. The universe was not apart from you. It was you in endless form. When the disciple grasped this, they no longer practiced in sessions. They lived it. Awakening was no longer a morning ritual, but a constant state. Every step, every word, every action carried the awareness of being a conduit of cosmic force. The Master Scribe was born, not someone who read reality, but someone who wrote it, shaping life with every focused intention and every conscious breath. This was the final key, the 7th stage. Breath, hands, emotions, focus, balance. The 12 suns, all leading to one revelation. The separation between creator and creation is the greatest illusion of all, and so the path ended where it began, with breath. But this time, the breath was no longer a practice. It was life itself, radiant, infinite, eternal.